So for this team, it's pretty standard. This one's just tuned so that SSB doesn't quite kill the wave, so Rem can finish it off with her S3 and have demon mode for the boss. You can also replace Rem with other units that are going to just put some damage and maybe a debuff on the Wyvern, like Corinne or something. And then you'd probably just want SSB to have a bit more damage to take out the wave herself. This damage from the counterattack doesn't really matter. There's plenty of overkill here. But yeah, Rem gets a lot of chances to place that irresistible death break here, and then ideally SSB would have placed the target, but didn't happen this time. But you can see there's plenty of ways for this team to win. It's pretty stable. And then for Golem, Vivian here doesn't need to like lap anybody for these team comps. She just needs to outspeed, so just 230 here to go before the B. And then Laika is just going to do some damage to the wave so that Vivian can clean up and proc time matter. And then she'll be able to S2 again. And I think that this is pretty close to the minimum damage for this. So, Vivian's not triple S though, so if you have triple S, you could decrease it a bit. And then this Banshee team is almost the same as the video I did a while ago, but after they nerfed Iron Fan, had to put her on Portrait, which definitely increases the gear requirements. And if you see, she did 11,016 there, which is one more than the health they have, so it's right at the limit. But if you want, I think you could probably run Pavel instead of her in all of these teams. And his gear requirement is probably a bit lower, but I like Laika, so. Alright, then for Azimanak, it's pretty much the same team as Golem. Just Eaton is in there to be mitigation, especially with Torrent. Straze is just so squishy that if two of these guys hit him, then he doesn't have enough to survive the boss's attack on wave 2, so he's just there for mitigation. You see he's level 40, he's got basically no gear on, so it's still basically 3 units, but you can't put in somebody to farm XP or friendship. Pretty much free though. Pretty much the same thing, just Laika lets Vivian clean up the wave 1, and then she can S2 again on the boss, and then Laika and Straze do their thing. The good thing with using Laika over Pavel though is since she dual attacks with him right away, he can pull himself up that 20% with his S1. This team, you just need to make sure that Watcher has enough damage to kill the mid-boss here without any target debuff. So he's just on Destruction set rather than Rage. And then on here, Elphelt's going to have 2 chances to place the target, and she'll hopefully also land the Death Break here. Even if she doesn't land the Death Break, the team almost always still wins. It's just a bit slower. So this is also pretty stable. And then Schuri just cleans up with the S2 there. So here's Straze, For the way that I've done this, he definitely needs to be on Rage. Torrent is probably optional, but definitely makes the gear requirements easier if you've got some decent Torrent pieces. Basically just almost as slow as possible. A little bit of speed, like 10, like he has here, can be helpful to make sure he doesn't get lapped on some of the bosses. But that's pretty much it. And even on Caides, the Daydream Joker still does more damage than, say, Portrait. This is just a second Sinji that I have for PvE. It's got triple S imprint release. She's just, the important thing here is, for the way I've got my units built, is she's on Midnight Bloom for the extra crit chance. And then this is all stuff I just threw on manually to get her to exactly 199 speed with at least 200 resistance for the Wyvern to resist that. That's pretty much all she needs, doesn't need any bulk or anything. So for Rem, she obviously needs enough speed to go before Straze on that first wave of Wyvern, and then pretty much the only other thing is I gave her more attack than Straze so that she gets pulled in rather than him on the Wyvern boss stage. That way he doesn't end up attacking him before there's any debuffs on, and that also just gives her even more chances to place that defense break. And SSB is just on, whatever damage build with the proper tuning. Got her on Song of Stars for the extra chance to place the target on the boss, and then just the damage on S2 EE here. She only needs 69 crit for this since she's getting the 15 from Elemental Advantage and then 16 from Angelica. And then Vivian, like I mentioned, just needs 230 speed to outspeed the B on Golem, and then on Time Matter, and of course the EE to give the combat readiness so she can use her S2 after using S3, and pretty much just get the speed and then as much damage as she can put on there. And Laika probably has the highest gear requirement here, so you could just use Pavel if you need, but she needs technically 184 speed to always go before the wave 1 on Banshee, but it's close enough. And then she's got the S3 damage EE here, and on Portrait. For Banshee, it's definitely was easier before with Iron Fan. As you saw, she's barely doing enough damage now, but this lets her also be more helpful in the other hunts, so that's pretty much all she needs, just as much damage with 184-ish speed. And then for the Azimanak, it's the same units except Eaton is just in there for the mitigation, because especially with Torrent, Straze is so squishy that I think if 2 of those units in the first wave hit him, then he dies to the boss at the beginning of that. So he's level 40, he's got just whatever gear I threw on him for storage, so basically a free unit. And then lastly, for Caides, just need to make sure that Schuri has enough damage to one-shot that mid-boss. The immunity is completely irrelevant here, it just happened to be the highest damage that I had on him. The EE is also irrelevant other than the speed for tuning, because he does need to be at least 190. So just whichever one you have that's got 10 speed is fine, and then just as much damage. Elphelt, she's just on Song of Stars to place that target on the boss. She's got 2 chances with S3 and S2, so it's decently consistent. She just needs, the 65 effectiveness, and then her tuning, she needs to be slower than Sinji for this wave 1, but still fast enough that when she does have the speed buff, she will actually go before her. So just need to be careful with those 2 there. And other than that, just get the whatever speed you need for however your team is built, and then as much damage as possible to help, you know, kill the boss. And that's pretty much it.